guys. All right, we're going to do some review with multiplication. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a 4-digit by 1-digit. So let's say we have 3,256 times 4. So here we're going to take 3,256 and we're going to break this down, and we're going to use our distributive property. So what that looks like is taking each of these values, and the first thing we need to know is we need to know that the 3 is in the thousands place, the 2 is in the hundreds place, the 5 is in the tens, and the 6 is in the ones. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this 3,000 and we're going to multiply it by 4. Then we're going to take the 200, multiply it by 4, take the 5 tens, multiply it by 4, and take the 6 ones and multiply it by 4. So we're taking each one of these and multiplying them by that digit 4. And so when we write that out, this is what it looks like. I'm going to put it in parentheses to keep everything together. So 3,000 times 4 plus 200 times 4. And again, I'm getting this 3,000 because there's 3 in the thousands place. 200 is the same as 200. Plus, the 5 has a value of 50. Multiply that by 4. Notice that pattern, times 4, times 4, times 4, plus 6 times 4. So when I do that, I multiply all that out. And again, this is called distributive property. So when I multiply all that out, what that's going to give me is, let me move this a little bit here. Oh, click this, let's see. I want to, where's the tool that I need? Hold on one second. There we go. All right, move that out up here. So when I multiply that out, that is going to give me my partial products. So 3 times 4,000, and I'm actually going to represent this in a box. So I'm going to put my 3,000. I like this box because it keeps everything together. All right, so all I did was I took this number 3,256 and I just put it right here in expanded form. So I'm going to push this up, get my pencil back, and I'm going to draw a box underneath it, and we're multiplying all that by 4. So where those plus signs are, I'm going to draw my lines down, and then I'm going to start multiplying. So the 3,000 times 4, I look up to the 3,000, over to the 4. 4 times 3 is 12. And then here I see I've got 1, 2, 3 zeros. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 zeros for 12,000. So this was 3,000 times 4 is what I did in that box. Here, if I'm in this box here, I look up to the 200, over to the 4. So I'm doing 200 times 4. Notice this is exactly what I wrote up here. So 3,000 times 4, 200 times 4. But it's just nice because it keeps it all in these little boxes. So here, 2 times 4 is 8. And then I see 2 zeros, so I'm going to place down 2 zeros. Then here, if I'm in this box, I'm going to look up to the 50, over to the 4. This is 50 times 4, which is the same as 4 times 5 is 20. I see 1 0, so I'm going to place that 1 0 there. Here, I'm going to look up at my 6, over to my 4. 6 times 4, which is again exactly what I did in each of these, is 24. Now, those are called our partial products. So everything that I circled, Those are partial products. And what that means is those are just part of my product. A product is the answer to a multiplication problem. And so it's the partial part is just part of that product. All right, so now I'm going to take those partial products and we add them up. So 12,000, 800, 200, 24. Right, so 0, 0, 0, 4 is 4. 0, 0, 0, 2 is 2. 8 and 2 is 10. 1 and 2 is 3. And bring down your 1. So our final product there is 13,000. What did I do? Get out of there. All right, 13,024. Okay. So again, now this was a lot of work, but I wanted to show you the different, you could just go straight to the box, but I wanted to show you how we break it down with that distributed property. And then I wanted to show you how we get those partial products. So you could just start here and go multiply those out and then add it up, or start here with the box and skip, you don't have to do both steps. I just wanted to show that there. So let me do now with the 2-digit by 2-digit. So here, let's say we have 59 times 16. So here, what we're going to do in this one is we're going to take the 5, and the 5 is like a 50, so we're going to say 50 times 10, 50 times 6, 9 times 10, 9 times 6. So taking each of those values and multiplying them, and what that looks like when we write it out is 50 times 10 plus 50 times 6 plus 9 times 10 plus 9 times 6. Now, the reason I said 9 times 10 and 50 times 10 and 50 times 6 is because of these values. So this is in the tens place, this is the ones, this is in the tens place, this is the ones. So every time that I want to use the 5, it's not a 5, it's actually got the value of 50. Every time I say this 1, it's not a 1, it has a value of 10. Okay, so that there is your distributive property. And to get the answer from that, you have to multiply those out. So here I'm going to show you what that would look like. Let me make this a little bit smaller so I can still see my numbers and move that up there. All right, there we go. So I'm going to multiply this out now, and we'll get our partial products. We'll write them over here. So the first one is 50 times 10. I know that 5 times 1 is 5, and I see that there's a 0 here and a 0 here. So that's 2 zeros, so I'm going to place down 2 zeros. Then in my next one, I see that this is 50 times 6. 5 times 6 is 30, plus I've got 1 0, so here's my 30, plus the 1 0 is 300. 9 times 10 is 90, and 9 times 6 is 54. So these are all my partial products. Partial products, we add them up. So move this up here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to add them up. So 0, 0, 0, 4 is 4. 0, 0, 9, and 5 is 14. I'm going to regroup that 1. 5 and 1 is 6. 7, 8, 9. So 944 is my actual product, my final product. So again, this is skipping that box. If you wanted to do it in the box, let me show you what that would look like. So you would take your 50 59, and you would say 59 is the same as 50 plus 9. Draw your box here. Scoot this down a little bit. Then our next number is the 16. So we would say 16 is the same as 10 plus 6. We would draw that line across, draw that line down. Here, 5 and 1 is 5, plus the 2 zeros. Here, 10 and 9 is 90. Here, 5 and 6 is 30, with the extra zeros, 300. And here, 9 times 6 is 54. So here, those things that you multiplied up here on top when you did that distributive property, the 50 times the 10 is what we got here. The 50 times 6 is what we did here. The 9 times 10 is what we did here. And the 9 times 6 is what we did here. So that's just one way. And then if you notice here, the 500, here's my 500, 300, 300, 90, 90, 54, 54. So we take those numbers in that box, add them up, and we would still get the same answer, which is our goal there. So that is how we do 2-digit by 2-digit. So go back and review this and see if there's any part here that you need to practice, because like I said, we're going to have questions where we just stop at the distributive. We're going to have questions where we might need to just have the partial products. We're going to have questions where you'll be given kind of like a box like this with the area model where it's more drawn to scale, and you'll have to see, okay, I know 50 plus 9 is 59, so this is 59 times, over here 10 plus 6 is 16. So if I was just given this box right here, I would need to put it back and that kind of work backwards and say, okay, what is it that I'm multiplying? And so all different sorts of questions that you could get from what we just did. So make sure you're solid on each of the different parts. All right. Thanks for watching.